When you're being triggered, usually it's the vulnerable part of you being activated. Welcome to the Daily Power Lesson, your daily dose of leadership, confidence, and authentic empowerment. My name is Coco Duan, executive life and leadership coach. Your vulnerable part is the younger, tender version of you. It's that version of you who experienced some form of embarrassment, rejection, or abandonment, who really craves for recognition, approval, and acceptance. And it's a part of you feels some form of I'm not good enough, some form of inadequacy. That is part every single person has. No matter how wonderful your childhood was or how amazing your parents were, there's no way they could have met every single emotional need that you had. When there were certain aspects of your emotional needs were not met, then in your little human body and mind, human nervous system, that you form this way of thinking, oh, I'm not smart enough, I'm not capable enough, I'm not valuable enough, or I'm not lovable. So if you have never processed it or resolved that part of you or that emotional wound, then that part is frozen in time. Now, as an adult, when you experience a current situation, it doesn't have to be exact same, as long as it has a similar flavoring of that past experience when your emotional need was not met, when you felt rejected. Today, you almost feel the same way. It really felt like it's a time travel to the past. You felt this young, vulnerable version of you is feeling the pain. Let me give you a personal example. I grew up in a family that my parents valued my academic performance more than anything else. The only way I could get their attention, recognition, and love was to bring home straight A's and be the best. If I didn't do that, I felt they were not paying attention to me and I were not loved. So very much I was loved for what I did, especially academically, and I was not loved for who I was. That was an emotional wound that created in my life. So my whole professional life, I was just chasing this external approval. Other people's recognition of me was paramount, especially from my bosses. I remember in my last job, I was already in my 40s. I was a senior executive in a Fortune 500 company. I was running a big business, leading a big team. But whenever I felt that my boss didn't acknowledge and praise my performance, I felt hurt. I felt very, very disappointed. I felt that I wasn't good enough. And that was the vulnerable part of me being activated. You may have your version of your vulnerable part. For this part, we don't need to fix this vulnerable part. All you need to do is to witness this vulnerable part of you. This part of you just need to be seen, heard, and understood. So what do is that you say to this vulnerable part of you, hi, I hear you, I see you, I totally understand why you feel hurt, you feel disappointed, and feel rejected. It's totally understandable given what you went through. I'm here with you now, and you are not alone. You are safe. That comes from your wise adult. When your wise adult version of you able to show up for this vulnerable part of you, to see, to hear and understand that part of you with compassion and not shame that part of you, that's very important, then that's all she needs. When she has that, when she hear more and more of that of reassurance, it will quiet down. Then you will become less and less vulnerable. That's how you able to be less triggered. That's how you are able to show up with more calm, clarity, and confidence. So next time when you're being triggered, pay attention to see, to observe what is this vulnerable part of me saying to me right now, and how my wise adult can show up for her with compassion, to see, hear, and understand her. Thank you for watching this lesson. Remember to follow me, and I'll see you in the next lesson.